See, Reborn said it there. He's spot on. What's happening, guys? Welcome to another HFD Premier League podcast. We're going for a new look tonight. I don't know if everyone can see it. Don't know what you think of it. We're nice and central, nice and big on the screen. A lot to talk about. We've got a few people in the chat. We'll read it first. Reborn is there celebrating. Chris is obviously celebrating. Reborn says, who needs Kane? There you go. And then Reborn says, I think we should play with 10 men every week. We're going to definitely talk about that, Reeves. We'll echo that.
We are.
But we'll go with Johnny first. Johnny, how you doing, man?
Upset, man. It's been a rough weekend for me. Obviously, Man United losing. And if you're not from Australia, the Crows got robbed.
I know. It's been rough for our two teams, hasn't it? Our two teams got to...
It's been a very emotional roller coaster. And I'm glad I can move on now. It's Monday. It's a fresh week, and we can move on.
And Rob, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. We're second only to Brighton, so I can't complain. That's all right.
Yeah. I know what you mean. I mean, I'm looking forward to having the show first time, all three of us on here. So that's going to be good. But other than that, I'm not really looking forward to talking much about the soccer. But I mean, listen, we'll start there first. As we know, me and John are United fans, but we'll start there because it's Ange Postecoglou gets his first win as Tottenham manager. Go to you first, Johnny. What are your thoughts on that game, man? You know, you had a bit to say. Let's see what.
Oh, man. Where do I start? I mean, it's been such a lackluster start from Man United. The first two games have been shocking in my eyes. And I'm putting a lot of the blame on Ten Hag. I think he had the opportunity to see in that Wolves game that lineup was not the best lineup to start a game with. And he went with it again. It was a brave man to do it, I reckon. I'm very critical on this Casemiro Mount thing in the middle. I've never been a fan of it, even at the start of the season. So we just look unbalanced. We look lazy. We look unfit. To me, all the players looking rubbish right now, except for a couple. We just look. I don't think we deserve to win against Tottenham. I think we had an okay first half, but the second half was abysmal for me. Anthony's shocking on the right.
I think Reborn, sorry to cut you off, just said you need to get rid of Anthony. He's shocking, so he's echoed that.
Oh, man. Can't believe we spent 90 million on Anthony. That's just going to amaze me for years. But look, Rashford. Oh, I'm back?
No, you're there. I think it jitters every now and then, but you're right.
Yeah, and Rashford, for me, is not a number 9. He needs to be out on the left. There's a lot of problems at Man United, and the buck stops with Ten Hag, so he needs to get his boys rallying and get them playing a better brand of football. So,
yeah, 100%. I mean, I'll say what I got to say, but Rob, what was your thoughts on that? You're a big advocate of Ten Hag, even though you're a City fan.
I am, and I don't know. He can't get on the pitch and score for Fernandes, for heaven's sake. 6 yards out. Rashford missed one. Look, if those go in, all of a sudden the game changes. So
yeah,
I'm not as pessimistic or cynical as Johnny here, but you got to take your chances. And as for Anthony, like Almiron for Newcastle, as soon as you work out that these players have only got 1 foot, you just stand on it, and they are absolutely useless.
Yeah.
I mean,
100%.
Almiron was doing 360s to get back on his left foot, for heaven's sake.
Yeah, I know.
It's laughable.
Well, I said this to John, like you said, Fernandes scores that chance, but the other one as well, like we're going to talk about it. Obviously, John talked about it with the footy and that. How United didn't have a penalty is beyond me. The guy's hand is up here stopping a ball. That's and it didn't even get looked at. They didn't even make him go to the screen. So what's the point of VAR if a guy's going to get out the screen, have his hand up here and stop a ball and you don't go look at it? And Michael Oliver has been accused before of not giving, being hard against Man United. So, and he's meant to be the top ref in the country. He's meant to be the top ref in the world. He's done a World Cup final.
I wonder, and maybe Reeves knows more about this, whether who's got final. I know the referee's got final say, but can the referee just say, no, hang on, you guys in VAR, you haven't called this. I want to see it. Well, who actually can? To me, the referee's in charge.
I don't think a ref can do that, but that's the point I'm making is how the VAR haven't said, listen, you have to go look at that means something's wrong. What's the point of having it? Just have the human error then and don't worry about it. Same with the footy, like we're talking about the Crows.
Yep.
Just have the human error, so then he's to blame. What's the point of having this review system if you're just not, it's... I'm not saying that means United win the game. They still played crap. I agree with John. I said to John, and Rob, he's a coach, he can echo this maybe. You can tell Ten Hag wants a number 6, which is Casemiro, and 2 number 10s or number 8s, which was Eriksen and Bruno, and now it looks like Mount and Bruno, but it's not working. I mean, you can tell that's what he wants, but it's just not working. I don't know if that's because we're playing a winger up front at the moment, whatever it is. Anthony is... I said to John, Mount's only played 2 games, so you got to give him time. But Anthony, I mean, he's had a full year, and he still can't beat a player. He's been trying to take on a left fullback since his debut, and he still can't do it. It's ridiculous. Like,
all you got to do is stand there, and he can't get around you. Just jockey Anthony, he's done.
Yeah.
The thing I don't get now is if listen, mate, I haven't played at their level, but if you've got a brain, they know that's all you want to do now. If he actually fakes and goes right, he'll beat them because they think he's going to go left.
Correct.
No one is expecting it. He'll get past people now because they'll be like, what the hell just happened? But he's so, I don't know. Don't know what's going on there, but Ten Hag has to take a bit of blame. He has to take a bit of blame, I agree.
That's look, and that's what the good left footers do because Man City Newcastle game, Haaland did that. They stopped him on his left, and he actually went on his right and actually had a shot. Yeah, exactly. And the goalkeeper just got it. But and I know Pure did the same thing.
This whole penalty thing, have they said at the start of the season that they are going in the direction of a proximity? If it's very close from the ball getting hit to the hand and they're trying to get rid of the players holding their hands behind their back now, is that the reason why they've sort of said, look, it's sort of in a natural position, too close to the ball, we can't call it? Is that what they're trying to do now? Has that been announced? Like they're doing that this year?
Even if they are saying that, it still doesn't change the fact that the ball was going top bins and the guy's hand stopped it. It doesn't matter if it's a meter or 2. He still stopped it like a goalkeeper. So the fact that it was going in, or the keeper was going to have to make a spectacular save to stop it, should be saying, okay, that's a penalty, because he didn't have to do that. Well, that's what I think anyway. But I don't know. Rob's been a referee and a coach and a player, so I don't know. Like,
you know how they change rules yearly on that sort of stuff.
I know.
They re-emphasize things sometimes because if it hit the hand accidentally or not, back in the day was a penalty, guaranteed.
Yeah.
And they changed that, obviously. But the change a few years ago was intentional handball. Now, it's not intentional if you're a yard away.
Yeah.
But if
it still stops it.
And they said, unless it stops on the goal line, then it's it. But the thing is, you can easily say, oh, it's not intentional, but you move your hand out to block a cross. Of course it's intentional. And you say, oh, no, I wasn't intentional. But yeah, so.
Of course, we all know, we know as Australians, Harry Kewell in the World Cup said to the cows come home, it wasn't intentional. But everyone knows he put his arm up a bit and to stop that ball, you know what I mean? But
he was on the goal line, for heaven's sake.
Yeah, exactly. I'll read a few of the chats out, lads. Zach Howe says, hi, KP, Johnny G, Dr. Laz, and everyone on the live chat. Reborn says, I don't know about VAR, man. It's so inconsistent. And then, hey, Nick Harus says, hey, if Kim was the ref, he would have given a pen, KP. He's talking about Kim that did our Campbelltown game, Rob.
Oh, right.
So, Nick, how you doing, man? He's one of the boys from soccer. That's Andrew Harus's little cousin, John.
Oh, yeah, g'day.
Reeves says, I'm all right, man. Hope you're well. Ivan says, United, crying. Chelsea, laughing. Wasted signings. But, yeah, I mean, we've touched on United. It's, I think I said to John, I think he did this last year, Ten Hag. He gave certain players those first 2 rounds. When they didn't perform, they didn't play again. A la Maguire, Lindelof, things like that. Maybe he did that again. He's like, you've played so bad against Wolves. I'm going to give yous this week. Yous don't perform again. this is your chance. You know, Ten Hag has been like that before. He's been a bit, you know, so hopefully he's gone down that road, you know, but I don't know. But
I know we've been bashing United, but look, congratulations to Ange on his first
you
win
got
in
it,
the Premier League.
100%.
And
look, there was a bit of...
And so, yeah, it's a long season, but yeah, good on Tottenham and good on Ange for getting his first win.
Yeah,
there was 100%. A bit of
100%.
Ange ball going on. There was some lovely sequences of play. So I'm look out opposition.
Yeah.
You
know what I found from it? It's so funny. You know, they've had multiple Champions League winner in Jose Mourinho, who's going to go down as one of the greatest managers ever. They've had Conte. And they've had Ange now, and I believe that they're happier with Ange than those two. Because they're actually, they're playing entertaining football, you know, whereas you had these two guys that are masterminds of the game that gave them nothing really. So, yeah, well done to him. Jimmy says, hey lads, what did you think of Spurs? We're just talking about it. Obviously he said, man, you missed some sitters. And this is the next one we'll talk about, Reeves, because we did the watch along. He says, McAllister red card. Gakpo last season, mark on his chest, only a yellow. We'll talk about that. Ivan says Casido is the biggest joke. I don't know if it's a joke, but he's definitely not worth £115 million. That's my opinion.
His performance was, I agree, Ivan, his performance was atrocious.
Yeah, so...
Did he come off the bench?
Get him off.
Yeah, he came off the bench. He came off the bench. By the way, this guy's top of tipping, Chris says. I love how Chris counts his chickens round 2. He must think it's like AFL, there's only 20 rounds or something.
Chris has had a great weekend, you know. He's had the best weekend of his life, and I've had the worst weekend.
Yes, I know. It's been bad for us, but
Chris, see if you win the tipping, I'm gonna add $100 to it.
Yeah, wow. Chris C wins the tipping.
He's got win 200 if that's the case. So someone
because
else has already wagered him that. So
Alia said that to him. So there you go.
You won't win it, Chris.
All right. Well, on that note, so the next game we'll talk about is we did the watch along on it. Or I did the watch along. John, I believe, was at a wedding. I don't know if he watched much of it. Rob was watching along with. But Liverpool v Bournemouth at Anfield. What I'll do is first, since we did that, I'll actually bring up the results on the screen because I got the results. So this was obviously 3-1 Liverpool. Bournemouth took the lead. Since Rob watched along with it, from what I took of it, Liverpool don't look right. They look better with 10 men. I think Reeves touched on it earlier. McAllister was definitely not. I don't even think it was a yellow, man. I don't know how he got sent off for that. And I'm a United fan saying that. But yeah, Rob, what did you take of that game?
Look, it wasn't a red either.
No way.
Sometimes these simple trips or running into people, all of a sudden the referee gets carried away and referee wants to be best on ground. Sub the ref, get him off. Bloody hell.
It wasn't a red. It was absolutely not a red. Like if we're upset about the penalty, Man United, that Liverpool fuming about that. That's not a red card.
Yeah. And you're right. Liverpool played better with 10 men, so I don't know what that was about. As did West Ham, but we'll come to that. West Ham played better with 10 men.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, so I don't know. Like, Liverpool don't look right, but they got the result. That's what they can turn around and say. I think he's going to start playing that the Japanese guy, Endo, because he had Sloboslai, McAllister, and who else started in there? I can't even remember. Gakpo attacking mid, and it wasn't working.
Endo made a difference when he came on.
Yeah, he did.
He just sort of seemed to calm things down and settle things down. So he might be a little diamond in the rough for Jurgen Klopp, I think.
Well, apparently news has just come in. I mean, since we are newsbreakers, apparently United in for Gravenberg, and it's meant to be happening. So just read that now, announcement. Don't know what to take of that.
Just goes to show, as soon as United lose a game, desperation hits, and now they go running.
Not since we've already touched on it, not to touch on it too much. It shows you that pretty much all of our frustration as United fans should be directed at the Glazers and no one else, really. That's what it shows you. So they're parasites that have no right owning, and this is even if you're not a Man United fan, they have no right owning an institution like Man United. You know, it's arguably the biggest club in the world. It's a joke. So
I don't think they're even running it very well as a business, to be honest.
No, they're not. It's funny. All these people got their businessmen. Ed Woodward was a businessman. It's like, mate, they must have got given all their money by their parents because they're definitely not good businessmen. But back to Liverpool.
We could spend all day on Man United, could we?
Exactly. Yeah. Reborn says, haha, I've just seen we are in for Decore and Gravenberg as well. They're saying apparently United, I've read here, United have offered him a contract on loan. So, and he obviously played for Ten Hag at Ajax, but I don't know.
Yep.
Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, I think they'll start playing Endo because they need that defensive-minded player. McAllister wasn't holding it by himself, sort of like us. We're not holding it with just Casemiro. They need something else there, but Alisson looked shaky. Van Dijk is not up to it, man. I don't know what's wrong with him.
Yeah, he's
lost a yard of pace, I think.
He's still out of sorts, and honestly, Trent was playing in midfield, right?
It was weird.
I don't mind him going forward, but I don't see any defensive qualities in him whatsoever.
No, he's not good defensive. I mean, like I said, he's got the.
What type of injury did Van Dijk have that year and a half?
He did. That's what I was going to say. He did what he did his ACL. Like Rob has done an ACL.
Yeah,
it's been almost 2 years though.
Just can't get back to his best from there, really.
But I was seeing the other night. Who was it up front for Bournemouth? Solanke. Solanke is, I mean, he's quick, but he's not like Rashford quick. And he was running past Van Dijk like it was, a year. Well, before the injury, Van Dijk would have jogged next to him and wouldn't even have got into a sprint. And he was like, he's lost that yard. And I remember this happened with Ferdinand, and I remember Ferguson saying to him, "You've got to adapt as a centre back now because you've lost that yard of pace. You were lightning quick. You've got to adjust your positioning." And Ferdinand ended up playing another 5 years. Like Van Dijk's just got to realise that that's not his game as much anymore. He's not the slowest, but he's not the quickest anymore. And I don't know. Reborn says Jones will get a few games, I think. He was good at the end of last season. But yeah, I don't know about you, John. You wouldn't have watched it. You had a wedding.
No, I was just looking at the live scores. I was very happy to see Bournemouth 1-0 up, but then I checked about 20 minutes later and I think it was 2-1 up to Liverpool.
No, but they had the ball. They had the ball in the net. They had the ball in the net twice in 3 minutes, man. And they were unlucky for it not to be 2-0 because it was close. Robertson was very close to keeping him onside. It could have been 2 within 3 minutes. So
I guess you would have just penciled this as a W for Liverpool at the start of the year anyway. So
I agree.
Not much surprise, I guess. Yeah.
Zakal says Spain are the champions of the Women's World Cup. There you go. They absolutely are.
Speaking of VAR, another dodgy VAR decision.
Yeah, there you go. Rob was saying it before. Reborn says, I'm so sad Casado is doing bad. It's almost like a karma thing, and he's laughing. But listen, man, it's one game off the bench. I don't think you can't. I'm not. By no means do you write him off or anything yet, but he's definitely not worth that money, in my opinion. But he will be good for Chelsea, I believe. It's not.
So Ivan says Cascade is good at giving penalties. So,
yeah, Casido's good at giving penalties. There you go. Reborn says, Reeves, who you going for? Ivan says he goes for Liverpool, man. But next game, I'll bring up the results again. Here we go. So the next game, which it was going on at the same time because I was doing the goal rush, Brighton Wolves. Brighton absolutely hammered Wolves after United narrowly beat Wolves 1-0 at Old Trafford. Brighton handed them their asses on a platter. So I was watching the goals. The first goal, Matoma ran through about 6 people. They couldn't touch him. I don't know. He just it was like.
I really rate that player. I really rate.
No, it's good. It's good, man.
Best goal of the weekend because when he got through, he settled himself and you could see, okay, corner over there, thank you very much. And he calmed down, side-footed into the corner, goalkeeper, no chance. It was just...
Yeah.
I don't know, these defenders are soft, I'll tell you.
Well, it's funny, like, the one thing I want to touch on...
Back in my day,
Damn, back in my
day. Player or the ball, not both.
Damn's come in the chat. Damn, how you doing, man?
What's up, Dan?
The thing I'll touch on is Brighton, and I said this to Rob during the watch-along, like Italy just appointed Spalletti as manager. I'm surprised they didn't go for De Zerbi. I mean, Brighton have lost Colwell. Their starting centre-back all last year has gone back to Chelsea and he's starting. They've lost McAllister, Caicedo. Like, Dude,
and
and
Sanchez.
they haven't played it. Yeah, like they haven't played any different last year, and they lost Robert Sanchez to Chelsea. Last year they lost Trossard halfway through the year, so they've effectively lost a striker, two midfielders, a centre back, and a goalkeeper. That's your spine, and they're still ripping it. They're still ripping it. Like Danny Welbeck's playing well. You know, people thought he was done after he left United. Everyone was saying, Welbeck only played good for Ferguson, couldn't play good for anyone else. He's ripping it. He got João Pedro from Watford, who's playing well. He's got that young Evan Ferguson who, listen, I don't agree with people who are saying, he's a regen of Rooney, which I think is far-fetched because Rooney at 18 was already playing in the Euros. So all you England fans and all that are saying that, settle down, please. Rooney, listen, I'm not just a United fan saying he was a generational talent. This one is good, but at 18, Rooney was already starting for Man United. This guy's still on the bench for Brighton. That's the difference.
Yeah, but you know what, KP? What I'm thinking about this is where United have gone wrong, or Ten Hag has gone wrong. Leave Rashford out wide. They returned Weghorst, so thank you very much. Like a library book, you can have him back. Put someone centre forward, even if it's a bloody distraction, because the centre forward is going to keep two defenders busy.
Well, that's what me and John said. Me and John said if Martial was fit enough to be on the bench, and again, we're back to United a bit, why didn't he start? Because you're better off letting him play for 60 minutes and then dragging him than, And Reborn says Solly March is one to watch. I mean, his 2 goals were great, but back to Brighton. They're just playing De Zerbi's philosophy, and I believe if he keeps going, I don't know how long Spalletti will be at Italy, but Italy will be going for him. And if they don't go for him, he'll be getting a big job soon. He'll be going to, Bayern Munich's, Man City's. They will be looking at him if he keeps doing this well for Brighton. I mean, we've seen the proof is in the pudding with Potter that it's not the same coaching Brighton as to coaching a big team. But, man, he's a lot better than Potter. no offense. He's... And I agree. Solly March, great player. These very unheralded players are just doing real good for them. So, So John, like John said, you were telling me you love Matoma at United.
Yeah, 100%. I reckon just sack all of the scouting and recruitment team of Man United and just hire the Brightons one, because they just do it time and time and over again. You know what I mean? Sell their best players and replace them with players about 5 million, and they're just, they're going to sell them for about 90 million in 2 more years' time. They just rinse and repeat.
Yeah.
And look, man, I take my hat off to Brighton. Look, they're top of the ladder, even losing Casido and McAllister. So, they're doing really well.
The one thing I touched on it before, and it's this, it goes the same way for players as well. Performing for Brighton is one thing, but performing for, a la United, Munich, City, Barcelona is another thing. And can Matoma go do that for one of them? Only time will tell. But at the moment,
I'll take him over a heartbeat over Anthony.
100%. I agree. I'm just saying. But what I'm saying is Anthony's sort of another one. Anthony, no one could say he wasn't performing for Ajax, because he was. He was getting assists. He was getting assist goals, and maybe it's that United, the Old Trafford fear factor has just, like a deer in the headlights. I don't know, but Ivan says Johnny's cracking up about that. Dam says Johnny's so wise. JG looks like he's doing a press conference. Dam says that's why I put us like this, so we can look press conference wise. Reed says Casido cost them 4.5 million 2 years ago, 110 million.
I was just going to pick. I was just picking on that. I was just going to not pick on Reeves, but how much money has Brighton just raked in? Are we talking 300-400 million?
How much did they get? I know McAllister didn't go for much. What did he go for? He only went for about 40, which I thought was
had a release
by Liverpool. Yeah, but still, they got 160 million from 2 players.
Yeah, I know.
Casido, Sanchez, they got 30 million, I think, for 25. Trossard last year, they got 50 or 60, didn't they, in mid-season? So they've recouped heaps, man. So, but yeah, I mean, all looking good for them. The thing I say about Brighton, same like I said about Newcastle and things like that, time will tell how they go once Europe starts coming in, because as a club, they've never experienced that, not just as a playing group. So when that comes around,
lost as well. Cucurella, what's that right back?
They lost him, the left back. He went to Chelsea at the start of last year, so they lost him as well.
That's another.
But the guy they got in that plays for him is better than him now. He scored Estupian. He's better than Cucurella.
Oh yeah, he is.
The Colombian. He is hands down better. Hands down better. So about 250 million-ish, Reeves is saying, and that's pounds. That's pounds. So and Trossard, so about 300. Yeah. So Ivan says Trossard was a good signing for the Gunners. I agree with that.
I agree, Ivan. Absolutely. I think he actually should now be in the starting 11. To be honest,
I agree. So I'll bring up the results again. I didn't watch this one actually. I just watched the highlights. First game of the weekend, Nottingham Forest, Sheffield United. Obviously, Nottingham Forest got the chocolates. United got Forest next week. Sheffield United. I mean, I tipped them to go down. I think you both did as well, to my memory. But good win for Nottingham Forest at the City Ground.
I think they just snuck the win actually.
Yeah, last minute or something. Yeah. So I don't know.
I still thought it was a solid performance. They weren't too shaky in defence, and maybe that's a reflection that maybe Sheffield United aren't going to cope.
Yeah. Well, another thing I'll say, like I said about players lifting, Elanga couldn't get a kick for us, and he's looking excellent for Nottingham Forest. So, he's doing. Again. Yeah, he come off the bench. He's just got pace when he comes off the bench, like he did the week before. He caused Arsenal problems. So,
take good on Nottingham. Elanga on.
Yeah.
Elanga on.
Yeah, I agree.
Elanga's on.
I got a soft spot for Nottingham Forest. I'd like Nottingham Forest to stay up. So
I'll tell you what, we're playing Forest next, and if Elanga comes to Old Trafford and puts one on Ten Hag, it's going to be egg everywhere. So get ready, guys. If that happens, forget about it.
Well, the one thing I'll give United is last year they not the best defense in the league, but at home United only conceded 7 goals at Old Trafford for a whole season. So if you go to Old Trafford and win, you're doing something good. That's what I've got to say. If that's Ten Hag's got that as a fortress at the moment, and obviously all things come to an end, but we'll talk about it when I bring up the fixtures later. But yeah, good win for Nottingham Forest. And I've just brought him up again. The other game going on was Fulham-Brentford, and we're watching that during the goal rush.
Yeah.
Fulham should have scored. They missed some sitters, and then a pass back. Me and Rob were laughing at it. Calamity of a goal to go 1-0 down. And then they got a red card, and it was done. And now Mitrovic is gone, like we talked about.
Yep. He wasn't in the squad at all. So where's he going, KP?
He went to Al Hilal, I think. Yeah, so he's gone. It's done.
Is every team called Al Hilal in Saudi Arabia?
They're all Al something. They're all Al something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Al Hilal, I think, are trying to sign Emerick Laporte.
Yeah, there you go.
Same team, or they're all the same team?
Yeah, it's one of them.
Different team.
So, listen, I don't know if losing Mitrovic is big goals. They got Jimenez in, but he hasn't scored yet.
He did nothing at Wolves, man.
Now, I think since he's had that head injury, man, and by all credit to him for even playing after that, like Peter Cech did, it'd be hard to be right after that, man. Especially as a striker, you got to attack balls, you got to go in on a keeper, and he's had a fractured skull, and he hasn't been right since. So I don't know about you guys. Does anyone think Fulham's in trouble, Johnny? What do you think?
I think so. I think Mitrovic is a big loss.
Huge loss, I think.
He's a focal point of their attack, and you can tell why Silva was so desperate to keep him at the club. So, look, I think it's going to be a big hole up front for Fulham. I still reckon they escape relegation this year, but it's definitely a loss. Big loss for them.
Yeah, what about you, Rob? What do you think?
Yeah, look, goal scoring wise, it's a bit. I think they'll bounce back a little bit. I don't think I had Fulham relegated. I think they'll survive because
I think I got your predictions. I think I got yours.
Other teams, just like was it Ivan said, what do you think, guys, about Everton? Yeah, they're in trouble.
Oh yeah, I think they're in trouble. I think I'd like to rehash my predictions now after watching them twice. But yeah, Rob, I got yours up on the screen. You had Nottingham Forest, Bournemouth, and Luton to go down. I'll bring Johnny's up. John had Forest, Wolves, Sheffield United. And I had Wolves, Sheffield United, Luton. So, yeah, but listen, I think I agree. Everton in trouble, and that's the next game I like to touch on. The results, I bring it up. We talked about it a bit before we went up. I watched it last night. Aston Villa, Everton. They hammered Everton. But like you said, Rob, Everton gave them 3 of those goals. Philip Coutinho tore a hamstring, which is never good to see, only 10 minutes into coming on. But they look good, though. They look good, Villa. I mean, after getting thumped the week before, they bounced back. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on that?
Look, the first goal, Everton tore them apart with this simple philosophy that when I was playing, our team used. It's like, get it to the byline, cut it back.
Yeah, it was good.
And don't be bloody greedy. When that happens, the goals start flowing. That's how the first goal came. Someone started getting a little bit greedy. And then Everton gave them 3 goals. So you don't worry about it. I'll throw you the ball.
Yep. Jimmy says done so much better since Gerrard got the sack. Yep, we know that. But Johnny, did you watch any of that?
I just saw the highlights, and it didn't look like Everton had much of a sniff in the game. Everton scored some good. Villa scored some good goals, and they bounced back from that loss against Newcastle. But
he's terrible, man. How is that guy
Pickford
playing?
Almost took someone's head off.
But how's he playing
penalty?
How is he number 1 for England when you got Nick Pope is playing Champions League with Newcastle, Ramsdale's playing Champions League with Arsenal? They're in the top 4.
Yeah.
Pickford's almost getting relegated, and Southgate keeps picking him and Maguire.
I can't.
Ridiculous.
I don't link of Pickford.
Oh, I was shocked when that happened. If that happened, I would have cried. But I think there was a bit of, you break it down when you're looking at the squads, and apparently United were linked with that Onana at Everton. A few other teams were linked with him. If they lose Onana, now they're definitely going down because they got nothing. Like, you watch them, Aston Villa bought on Tielemans, Coutinho, and Diego Carlos, that Brazilian centre-back, who's been injured for a year, but he's played for Brazil. He probably will play for them. And Everton are bringing on guys I'd never heard of, like 17-year-olds. So, showed you the difference in their squads. And Emery is obviously a better manager than Daesh as well. My tip, my tip of the week was? I was going to say this. My tip of the week is go now, put your money on Villa to win the Conference League, I reckon. Well, Emery's won four Europa Cups.
Yeah.
Surely he's got to do well in that. I mean, they're playing Hibernians, I think, in the playoff this week. If they don't beat Hibernians, something's wrong. So, I mean, that's my tip.
Go the green and white. Go the green and white.
Yeah, exactly. But that's my tip of the week. Go from Villa from now to win that. Because Emery, he knows how to win those sort of trophies. So
it'd be pretty good money, actually.
Yeah, I think
pretty
so.
good bet. Yep.
Ivan says the Saudi signings are so crazy. Jimmy T says, we read that about Gerrard. Ivan says Pope, fire. I mean, he's playing for Newcastle and they're in the Champions League. That's enough said, really. If Pickford lands that hand, geez, that's a proper haymaker, Reborn says. Agreed. If he had hit him, he would have taken him out. So, and Rob was agreed with it. So
his hand was up here, man. It wasn't going for the ball at all.
And when you look back on it, really, how did Van Dijk do his ACL? Pickford went through his knee, missed the ball. No penalty was given because apparently it was offside. He didn't get sanctioned for it, and he put this guy out for a year.
I remember that.
You know what I mean? And he got nothing for it because it was in offside play, so he didn't get booked. He got nothing for it. He effectively assaulted someone and got away with it. That's, you know what I mean? Like, so that's why I don't like that rule. If you've hurt someone and it's offside, who cares? You still fouled him. But yeah, so Villa looking good. It's good for them to bounce back. The next one we will talk about. We talked about Man United already. This was the game that I said I didn't say they'll win. I said, but if you got a spare tenors, go Newcastle. Man City 1-0. We'll go to Rob for that. What are you saying, Rob? Your boys? Was it comfortable? Was it a comfortable 1-0? Was it a?
You know what? It was very comfortable. Man City they were always on the ball. They were always in control. Newcastle offered nothing. Almiron's a 10-year-old going on 5 because he can only use his left foot.
So he's Anthony's older brother. Is that what
oh my God! It was seriously, it was embarrassing.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, Reeves said it was a little boring because apart from Alvarez's goal, this is the thing. I think because Pep's playing 4-2-3-1, so much for the 4-3-3 insistence. I think Alvarez needs to be on the park from the starting 11 as he is, because if what they're doing is they're putting 2 players plus on Haaland, who should have scored a couple, by the way, and then you've got to deal with Alvarez, who had 1 chance, and guess what?
Yeah,
He put it away, and it wasn't an easy chance. It was a fantastic goal.
In saying that he started up front for the team that won the World Cup, didn't he? So I'm not saying he's better than Haaland or anything, but he's a different profile, and I think he can play number 10 as well. So
yeah, and I think they work well together. And for the first time, record this. I like what Foden did. He played very well.
There you go. That's good though. But
I think he was man in the match.
Well, I think he has to play well because he knows I'm getting a chance now because Pep hasn't fancied him lately. So I don't know about you, John. Did you catch much of it? What are your thoughts on it?
I just saw the highlights, and Alvarez is Alvarez. That's how you pronounce it.
Yeah.
Cracking goal. I think it was just inside the 18-yard box, top bins almost. And Foden, I think, believe people talking about him being man of the match. So look, Man City doing Man City things, aren't they? Controlling, death by 1,000 cuts, as they say, and. They just probably wore Newcastle down and didn't let them breathe, really. So,
well, it's funny, like how Rob said it and Reborn said it. They did this last year. Like Newcastle, I remember they struggled against City. They struggled against Liverpool, and Liverpool weren't even doing that good last year. But Liverpool thumped them twice. So their thing is maybe against those bigger teams that know how to hold it. We struggle against them, and that's why I asked, did you think it was a comfortable 1-0 win? Because I think it was. It was 1-0, but, it was almost a banker, really, because they just hold the ball out of them. It doesn't look it because of the 1-0 scoreline, but like you said, City doing City things.
Could have had 3. Could have had 3.
Yeah, I agree.
And Foden, this is the thing, because Man City signed 25 bajillion attacking midfielders and tried to make them play out of position, I don't think they'll miss De Bruyne as much as they think, because there are creative players there.
Yeah, I think they'll.
And now,
I don't think it's De Bruyne. I think they're going to miss Gundogan and Mahrez. That's who I think they're going to miss.
Yes. Yeah.
So
more so because Foden now, if he's a centre of attention at central attacking midfield, he will set up a lot of chances.
Yeah, he'll play the ball. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ivan says a standing goal indeed, and Dr. Laz, which is Rob, says his tip of the week. So he's given one is Haaland hat trick against Sheffield United. I would definitely take that bet.
Let's be real, guys. Man City can field 2 great teams, so
they can. I agree.
I think they're going to be fine.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Anyone that thinks they're not is tripping. No, I think they're definitely going to be fine. But so. I mean, Rob didn't tip him to win it because he said 4 in a row is hard, but has anyone else's tips changed? I still think City are going to win the league, so...
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, Man United aren't, so...
No. Oh, listen, it's going to be... I agree with Rob. It is very hard to do that, and because you've got to add the World Club Cup in there, you're adding more to... They've already played an extra game because of the Super Cup. It will be hard, and there's other teams that are stronger. Like Bayern Munich now with Kane is a different proposition because they got someone that can put the ball in the net.
Yeah, you can already see that Liverpool, Chelsea, and Man U don't look like they have the goods to challenge.
No,
Chelsea,
I agree.
City. So it's left to Arsenal, really. So we'll see how they go in there.
Yeah, we'll talk about that at the end here. They're still playing. But the next one, that's it, actually. That's the last one because we have West Ham, Chelsea. West Ham beating Chelsea 3-1. Bit back down to earth for Chelsea. But you know what? When I saw the lineups come out, they showed Chelsea's lineup, and the first thing I noticed immediately was no Reece James. And whoever was in for him, I didn't even know who it was. I was like, that's going to hurt him. And the lineup didn't look strong. It looked stronger. He had Casido on the bench, things like that, but it didn't look like a strong lineup. And, they go miss a penalty.
Yeah.
What do you think of that, Rob? I
I mean, I tipped. I tipped, and also tipped Chelsea to roll West Ham quite comfortably.
Oh, so
But Nicholas Jackson, who I've tipped as the find of season, he missed things he could have. Cassiata was embarrassing. I didn't realise Reece James would be out.
Yeah, when I saw it, I was shocked.
He's a class act, and
he is.
I'm surprised. I'll be surprised if he stays at Chelsea.
There you go. The only thing that I think keeps him at Chelsea is he's a Chelsea boy. That's the one thing going for it. Sort of like, the Rashford thing. But who knows? A Real Madrid come in and say, listen, we want you. Who knows? But John, what do you think about West Ham? You got a soft spot for West Ham?
Yeah, I mean, Chelsea is the one thing that made me smile this weekend. All the woes that Man United do with all their spending and their crap signings. Then you got Chelsea, the mother of them all, $1 billion in 1 year, and look at their team. It's still bad. So it's like, it makes me laugh. And go to Hammers. Good on David Moyes. And look, Chelsea, they'll be scratching their heads. And I saw some clips on the.
They should have scored. They had so many more chances, possession, expected goals. Like it was. Yeah. But I'm with you, mate. Chelsea sucked in. I 100% agree.
Chelsea had an extra player for half an hour.
I know.
The other team was down to 10 men for half an hour. I saw the West Ham fans chanting at the Chelsea fans about their money spent, and it was just the best thing I've ever seen.
I've been cracking up. But Reborn says, I had reasons to be happy. United and Chelsea lost. Ivan's laughing. But listen, I agree. Chelsea, they're up there with one of my most hated clubs. So, they've spent so much money. And the funny thing is, all everyone talks about is United spending money. But, listen, I do think they'll do well. I actually rate Pochettino. I think he's a good manager. If he's given time, which you don't know now, it's not Abramovich anymore, he will get them going. And in a few years, because of the money they're spending, they're going to be a different proposition in 2-3 years if he gets time with them. If he gets that, I don't know. But, it was funny. It was funny seeing them lose, to be, just the whole money thing. It was funny.
It's going to be a busy couple of months, September, October, with Europe getting in, 2 international week breaks.
Yep. There's one September and October, isn't there?
There's going to be a couple of midweek games. We'll see who comes out, see what the ladder's like at the end of October for some indication.
Yeah. I know what you mean. Yeah, Reborn says, well, half their squad is on 8-year contracts, so they got to get going. They'll spend till they get bankrupt like Barca. I don't think they can go bankrupt like Barca, man. That's the difference. That's Barca was spending money somehow that they didn't even have. That's the difference. But so that concludes everything. We'll get a quick tip. I'll bring up the fixtures for the next ones, but there is one game left. Sorry, Rob, there is one game left. Arsenal,
a couple
Palace.
of things. All the other European leagues are just they're away. They've started.
Yeah.
Juve, Inter, Napoli have won. Bayern,
Bellingham scored twice for Madrid, didn't he?
Stuttgart won. Real Madrid, Valencia on top. And Alkmaar is on top in the Dutch league, which is unusual for after 2 games. But there you go.
There you go. But I think they did well last year too. Alkmaar, I think so.
They did.
Alkmaar, so.
One other point: Saudi Arabia have approached UEFA and say we want a wild card in the Champions League.
Do they not own GPSs in Saudi Arabia?
It's in Europe. You guys are in Asia. Have you learned geography yet?
Yes, don't they have a GPS there?
I'm pretty sure the first word is European champion.
That's the best. Yeah, well, no, that was a weird one when I heard that. But what's the tip for tomorrow? The last game before we get. Reborn sent this in our Discord. Actually, he goes, Bellingham's brother scored twice on the weekend as well. I think he said for Sunderland. Does he play for Sunderland? So don't know if maybe they're having 2 jewels in the crown of that family. Who knows? And Chris C says money talks. Unfortunately, I do not think money will talk with that one, Chris. They will not go in there.
No,
there'll be an uproar. It won't happen. Not enough money could get them in, I don't think.
There'll be some fat envelopes going underneath the table for that.
Oh, yeah, Sunderland, I'm saying. So, yeah. So, both Bellingham brothers scored 2 goals in the weekend, which is good. But, yeah, tomorrow's game, Arsenal Palace. What's a quick tip?
Arsenal.
4-0, you reckon, Rob?
To Arsenal, just in case you're wondering.
Yeah, I reckon Palace are going to get spanked as well. I think they're going to get spanked too. But
yeah, Arsenal look good.
All right, so I'll bring up the other fixtures.
My second coach predicted sacking for the season will be Roy Hodgson, Crystal Palace.
Yeah, that's a good one, I reckon too.
Just quickly, Rob, what are those scarves on the door there? What teams are they?
Man City champions 2011.
I can't see them in our stream because we're unfortunate. They saw him last week.
Hang on.
Oh, there we go.
Italy Euros 2020 or 2021, depending on what calendar you were using at the time.
Yeah.
And obviously, and the treble, this was the domestic treble from Man City because I tried to buy the real one, but it sold out in an hour.
There you go. Reborn says, I love Eze at Palace. He's such a talent. I agree. He's a very good player. Ivan says 2-0 to Arsenal.
Yeah, Reeves, I reckon Eze won't last at Palace. Someone's going to sweep in on him.
He's gone. Him and Elise will be gone. But by this year, will be their last year there. But I'll bring up the fixtures. Yeah. So, obviously, Palace, Arsenal tomorrow. I'll put that in there. Then the first game of the week is Chelsea, Luton. There's Bournemouth, Spurs, Arsenal, Fulham, Brentford, Palace, Everton, Wolves, Man United, Nottingham Forest, Brighton, West Ham, Burnley, Villa, Sheffield United, Man City, and then Newcastle, Liverpool, another big one. So Chelsea, Luton, what are we thinking there, guys? I mean, I'm just going to go Chelsea, I guess.
Come, Luton.
I love it.
I want Luton to win.
But I'm tipping Chelsea, yeah.
Can you imagine Luton come? And you imagine Luton go win at Stamford Bridge? But I did say this to John a couple shows ago. I said, it always happens. One of those promoted teams will go to Old Trafford, Stamford Bridge, Emirates, Anfield, City, and one of them will do something somewhere. It will happen. Yep. But I don't think it'll be this one. I don't think it'll be Luton, but it will happen. That's what I think. So then we got Bournemouth, Spurs. I'm going to stick with Ange. Even though Bournemouth played all right against Liverpool. 3, Rob was saying.
Yeah, I'm sticking with Ange as well.
Yeah, got to go with Ange. I mean, good on him. And then we got Arsenal, Fulham.
Is this at the Emirates?
Yes. 4, Rob is Arsenal going to be creaming it in.
I'm going 5.
So we got 5. Brentford, Palace.
I'm going 5.
I'm going Brentford. I reckon Brentford are playing okay
I think they're going to smash them.
Moment.
Yeah, I think Brentford will smash them. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, Chris, you tip Fulham, mate. Good on you.
Yeah, do that. Everton. This one is the one that I think is going to touch a few people in the tips, right? I'll talk about it a bit. Everton, Wolves.
Yeah.
It's at Everton. Wolves have played pretty good in their 2 games, even though they got done by Brighton. They were actually playing good. They played good against United. Everton need to win at home. If you're like your tips, I know it's the 3rd game in, but it's like a must win already for Everton. And I don't know if they win. I don't know if Calvert-Lewin fractured his face was out like this. So I actually don't know if Everton will win. I mean, it's a must win.
I'm going
to draw.
Yep.
Spurs walk the pass this park this weekend.
Everton,
if you want to follow. Yes, I don't know, man.
Read that.
See, this is the one I think. I don't know where this one's going to go. This one, yeah, I got to fester.
Everton will get over the line.
What's
Man U, Forest. Man U, Forest. I'm going to go United.
Chris Seedham.
3-1 Man U.
Yeah, you don't have to ask me. Man U winning that.
Listen, I think there's going to be changes. And I agree with Rob. I think it'll be a bit higher.
Of course,
I don't think so. Yeah, that's all right. But I think there'll be changes. I think you see Sancho. And you know what? You might even see, you might even see the breakup of the midfield that you don't like. I think he might even put Mount out wide instead of Anthony and solidify the midfield. like with Casemiro, Fernandes, and maybe Eriksen.
I hope so.
I think Sancho will come in. Højlund is meant to be on the bench. Hopefully he gets a run. We get to see our striker, so that would be good. I'm not going to lie, I've only seen him for Denmark, but he looks really good for them. I've seen him score. He scored a hat-trick on his debut for Denmark. Let's hope he does well for United. So
I think Mount should be out wide, closer to like Cardiff or Wrexham on the day. Leave him on the bench. Get him off.
Yeah, the thing I see is, you know what, I would see that happening, but the fact they've given him the number 7 shirt means he wants to play him. He's a first choice. Because you don't get the number 7 at United if you're not a first choice.
You only get number 7 to match your IQ. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, there you go. Well, Cantona, he wasn't bright, but he was a good footballer. That's all we know. All right, but the next one, Brighton, West Ham. It's at Brighton's ground.
Go on, Brighton.
Yeah, I'll go Brighton.
I think West Ham are going to give them a bit of a run for their money, and I'm going 3-2 to Brighton.
Yeah, I think it'll be a bit closer. I think Brighton win, but I don't think there's going to be like the first 2 games where they've had, 4-0 and 4-1. I think it'll be a bit closer, but who knows? If they come out and spank West Ham as well, who knows? The next one, Burnley, Aston Villa. I think that's a big game too. It's at Burnley's ground.
Man, I'm going Burnley for an upset here.
Burnley for an upset?
No,
I'm going Villa.
Villa.
I think Burnley, people have put what they think they're going to be a lot higher than what they actually are. People are like, they're going to finish top 10. And it's like, what you've got to sit back and think they've just come from the championship. It doesn't matter how many points they got. They could have got 300 points. And they're still a championship team compared to all these Premier League teams. Yeah. So, I don't think it's going to be easy, but I'm going to stick with Villa. And then Sheffield United, City. I mean, Rob's already given us prediction. I don't think you can. I think City are going to kill them. I agree. I think it's going to be a smashing.
I think Haaland's only because I think Haaland's pissed off he didn't score.
I think he takes the golden boot. He's going to get the golden boot almost 1 foot in the door this week, I reckon.
Oh my God.
They're going to spank him, I think so.
Yeah, Chris, see, you pick a draw between Sheffield and Man City. Go ahead, go on.
I'll tell you what, Chris, if you're actually doing the tips that you've said in the chat tonight, I'm getting worried for your tips, so stick with them. But last game of the round, which is huge, game of the week, I'd say, Newcastle-Liverpool at Newcastle. And Liverpool did beat them twice last year pretty convincingly too.
Liverpool seem to always have the kibosh over Newcastle going back.
Oh, for years, yeah.
And it may happen again. Can we hear from the man on the ground, Reeves? Reeves, let us know about the Newcastle. Liverpool.
Listen, even though it's at St. James, I'm still leaning. I don't want to tip them, but I'm leaning to tip either a draw, which I don't want to tip draws, like I said, or Liverpool. I do like Newcastle. I like their squad. I don't actually like them as a club per se. I like Isak up front. Wilson, he comes off the bench, he scores. Don't really like Almiron. I agree with that, but I like Bruno Guimaraes. Tonali's good. Even Joel Linton does good in the midfield. Botman at the back is good. Trippier's been good for them. So they got a good squad. It's like Liverpool got something on them. I agree.
Yeah, I'm tipping
Ivan's a Liverpool fan. He says he's going Liverpool. You going Newcastle?
Yep.
Yeah, listen, it could go either way. You don't know. Like, Liverpool didn't play good by any stretch, so.
I'm tipping Newcastle because Liverpool I don't know. They're not playing as a team. Yeah. And Newcastle very rarely lose at home.
Yeah. I think the last time they lost at home was Liverpool, I reckon.
You'll find me tipping against Liverpool a lot this year.
Yeah. Well, Reborn says we've got them too much for them going forward. But that's why I think Liverpool killed them last year. Newcastle couldn't handle their attack. And that's one thing I'll give Liverpool. Szoboszlai looked good. Diaz looked good. Salah didn't look good.
Salah off.
Yeah, I'd have him off. I agree. He got a penalty and he missed. Scored, but Diaz looked really good. His goal was sharp. Real nice goal.
Diaz is good.
Yeah. Who knows? If they start, I think, with Endo, they'll... Listen, I want Newcastle to win, but... Yeah, that's a tough one for me. That's definitely match of the round, so...
Can we get you over there in charge of VAR, KP? Then Newcastle will win.
Man United be getting penalties everywhere. Liverpool, this I would have sent McAllister off before he even did that tackle. But listen, I think I believe I read today that they're going to dispute that, and if Liverpool don't win that dispute, someone's rigged something. And like I said, everyone knows I hate Liverpool more than anyone, but that was not a red. It was borderline not a yellow. Okay, give the foul because it was a coming together, but it was disgraceful, man.
Mm.
Chris says, get the AFL goal umpire out there. He's still going. He's still prodding. He's still prodding. I wish Nunes on the bench this week.
I want to say this thing about this AFL thing. I bet you any money on the planet, this little incident wouldn't have happened with a Victorian team.
No way.
Guaranteed.
If that was Collingwood and they were 10th trying to get in the 8th, that never would have happened.
No, I would have given them 3 goals instead of 1.
Don't care what anyone says. If that was Collingwood and that we're in that exact same situation, that doesn't happen. I don't care. I would argue that with anyone till the cows come home. And yeah, I totally agree with that. But I'd like to touch on that, in ending the show, because it's with the soccer, the Premier League, and the footy. Don't put these protocols in place, a la VAR, score reviews in football, if you're not going to use them. The AFL, powers to be, should be reviewing every score if they've got a score review system. Takes 1 second to go, that went over. Okay, that was a goal. Or it didn't. There you go. VAR. A guy's stopping a ball up here because it's the only one of the week. Same or McAllister. Something like that. Listen, that's wrong. Don't have them there if you're not going to use them correctly. Go back to the way it was, where it was just human error, and then me, John, Rob, we can just say it was the ref's fault. That's it. He's culpable. But now it's not. He's not culpable because they got a whole team sitting in London or sitting in Melbourne, wherever the score review is for the AFL, that have done nothing, that are getting paid a lot probably to do it. And in ending on it just for the AFL, for 20 years they've been telling you, why are the umpires not full-time and everything else in footy is full-time?
Yeah.
Sorry, don't give me that. Don't turn around like they did today and apologise to the Crows. Even last week with United, don't turn around and apologise to Wolves that it was a penalty. Don't apologise to United today that they should have had a penalty because it gives you nothing.
No.
You don't get anything out of it. So
agreed. Oh, so that's just hollow, knowing that the decision can't get reversed.
Exactly. So I know that was a bit of a rant, but those things are ruining these games that these people love. People that love footy, people that love soccer, these beautiful games that people love. You're ruining them by bringing in these protocols that you're not using correctly. You know what I mean? It blows my mind. You know what? I think it would even be better if they went to the cricket format and said, listen, each team gets 3 reviews or something, because then they can pick their own review. Eric Ten Hag could go, oh, wait a second, I want to review that. That was bad. Or Matty Nix can go, I want to review that on the weekend for the Crows because that was shocking. That would be better than what they're doing. I don't know what it is. Ivan is saying KP facts. Chris says, congrats on HFD getting 100K view on TikTok. They got 100K because talking about this exact situation. So tells you what people think about it. So Childo's in the chat. He says, how you doing? The king is here. Have I said anything out? I think everyone agrees with me on that. That's right. It was a bit of a rant, but it's factual, right? It's
100%.
Just don't put them there if you're not going to use them,
When they talk about blaming the technology, this is what gets me. It's people looking at the technology. Technology is just recording things.
I know.
The technology can't be wrong.
What cracks me up with the Premier League is they went and got Howard Webb back, who's meant to be one of the great refs of the game, whatever, his ref. Put him in charge of the Referees Association, and all he's done is pretty much come out and apologise to people. He hasn't fixed anything. Go get... What I don't understand is, same with the match review panel in footy, why can't they put ex-players there to say, listen, I've played, that's a foul, or that's what, because they got guys that have never played like you said it last week, Rob, when you watched our game, there was a ref that's never played the game. You might be a referee, but there's things that players do that the dark arts, whatever you want to call it, that players know. I'm telling you, go offer an ex-player good money to go in there in the Premier League. He'll take the job. So
the EPL at the start of the season, before the start, we're talking about trying to get these retired players into the VAR room.
Exactly.
So they are talking about it, they are looking at it, but they need to do so, act on it. And it's the same with professional referees. Just pay a certain select referees, umpires full time. That was brought into the EPL 10 plus years ago.
If this doesn't push the footy, I mean, McLaughlin's leaving anyway, the new CEO that's coming in the AFL, to push for umpires to be full time. I mean, when everything else is physios, doctors, whatever, coaches, and the guys that are officiating the game are not full time, is farcical, really, when you actually think about it. So if that doesn't push them to do that, I don't know what will. But in saying that, Johnny, Rob has given his tip of the week. I gave a tip of the week. I said, get money on Villa to win the Conference League. What is Johnny's tip of the week? I'll give one for the fixtures as well. I'll give one for the fixtures as well as my other one.
Tip of the week for the fixtures.
Yeah, give us the tip of the week. They're up on the screen. I've put them up.
Newcastle will knock off Liverpool. You'll get
Newcastle knock off Liverpool?
$2 something there.
There you go. I'm going to do a little multi. I'm going to go the opposite way. I'm going to go Liverpool into Villa into Wolves. 3 away teams.
Damn.
Well, I just think, listen, I watched Everton, man. Mate, bad. They're bad. And the way Wolves played against United, they played the way they did against us, Everton are done. Because if they can go to Old Trafford and not be overawed, they can go to Goodison and do it. That's what I think. So, but, Childo says the new layout looks wild. Yeah, does everyone like that? I went the portrait, so we're up close. It's a bit...
I prefer the portrait, man.
I went the portrait. As long as we just stay central, it's good. But yeah, we've given our tips. I'm not going to be like Chris and say good luck to everyone's teams, because Rob, I hope your team doesn't win, and and I'm sure you're the same. Don't hope my team wins. So, but hopefully next
Bournemouth.
week. Hopefully next week we can maybe get all three of us again. I'm not sure about everyone's schedules. We'll see what we can do. It's good having 3 on. It's fun, and we'll see if we can get any watch-alongs happening this week. Not sure, but tomorrow I believe the boys will be doing their footy podcast, which John will not be on because he's working. I think it'll be Chris, Childo, and Johnny Carlton. Wednesday night, me and Chris will be returning with a podcast, and then from then on, we'll let you know how we go. But thanks, Rob. Thanks, Johnny. Any final thoughts?
No.
Yeah, I just want to say to my Crow boys, don't worry about all these cheating guys, man. We'll be back next year. And to the AFL, go yourself and give us some draft picks or something, man, because we've been ripped off and you've ruined our season. I've been cut up all weekend, and just do better, please. Never let this happen again.
Oh, it was terrible. It was terrible officiating. Like, you can tell the AFL world, like they do with it happens in soccer. There's certain things that make the world football, like soccer, the football world, come together. There's certain things that make the AFL world come together. There's always these things. Like the Super League thing, it made the football world come together. This has made the AFL world come together. So that's how you know it's bad. So I agree, but thanks everyone for watching. If you're new, please remember to like, share, subscribe. If you're not in our Discord, tell your friends. If you're not in our Discord, it's in the description. Join. You'll know when we're going live. Hit the notification bell. Thanks everyone for coming. Stay hunky.
Thanks everyone.